Mr. Chair, would you yield for a question?
I yield time back to Mr. Lamont. It's his time. Gentleman yields back.
Mr. Chair, you have time for a question then.
You've already been recognized. Does anybody else wish to seek recognition? Mr. Bentz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I come from Oregon. We don't have this type of prairie chicken there. We have the greater prairie chicken, and I've had much occasion as a lawyer in that space to work with ranchers in trying to figure out ways of protecting private land habitat for the prairie chicken in Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, and other spaces. I would note that the area that we're talking about here under this particular resolution is about half private land and about half public. And so, in other words, the prairie chicken relies heavily upon private land activities. The reason that this resolution makes so much sense is because it's going to result in, I believe, a continuation of the cooperation by the private landowners, which has resulted in an almost doubling of the number of birds, which I haven't heard mentioned in Friends Across the Aisle's testimony, from 20,000 to 35,000. Now, that's less than we would like, but it's a great deal more than it might have been the case but for the private land owners stepping up. The problem with this resolution, the rule that this resolution would repeal, is that it will impose upon private landowners the obligation to coordinate and follow federal top-down regulation of their operations. That will not work. I guarantee it. My little brothers, I have 5 of them. Several are still heavily involved in ranching and managing large spaces of land in Oregon. And I'll tell you right now, the reason that land is being used appropriately for purposes of the greater sage grouse is that we don't have the government jamming regulations down our throat, which is what this particular rule is doing. And you can look at it. It says right here that the ranchers will coordinate with some service-approved party. Who is that? Who is the service going to approve? It certainly isn't going to be a rancher. It's going to be someone that thinks they know what they're doing in that space, and they do not. And all you'll do is make the ranchers angry, and the grouse will be the worse for it. So this repeal is designed to, I think, continue the activities that have resulted in almost a doubling of the population of the grouse. And those that would argue otherwise are apparently convinced that the government can fix everything, and it can't. And so, of course, I support this resolution. That I yield back.